and welcome to today's broadcast.
My name is Daisy and I'm from Whero.
My name is Felix and I'm in Wanaka. Now it is time for the karakia. Mana o mai te mauri nuku, mana o mai te mauri rangi, ko te mauri kai o, he mauri te poa, ka pakaru mai te po, so mai te mauri, ho mia hui e taikia.
Today is Wednesday, 3rd of November.
And today that is Ra'apa Toru Whingia Arangi. Today's birthday shout-outs go to
Liam and Sophia Kilpatrick.
We hope you have an amazing day with your family. Time for the next part of learning about Parihaka. Today is part 3.
Originally, the government promised Māori that they would be able to keep their land. However, the Crown went back on their word and began to confiscate Māori land. Upset and angry about this, the people of Parihaka, led by Te Whiti Tohu, used a form of non-violent protest called passive resistance. They pulled out government survey pegs on confiscated Māori land and they ploughed Pākehā farmers' paddocks. The government put lots of the Parihaka protesters in prison without a fair trial, and in October 1881 they told Te Whiti and his followers, "Leave within 14 days or you will be removed."
On the 4th of November, a force of armed soldiers assembled near Parihaka. The people of Parihaka gathered on their marae, many with white feathers in their hair. They were not armed and were not preparing for battle. In fact, when soldiers invaded Parihaka on the 5th of November, a Bay man called John Bryce, the Māori people didn't attack. Instead, they made loaves of bread to share with the soldiers and sent their children to greet them. When the soldiers arrived at the centre of the village, they found 2,500 Māori sitting together. Bryce told the people of Parihaka that they had 1 hour to leave or they would be sent to jail. Today's story is
Remember that November.
Sit back and relax.
Have a great day.
Bye.
The school speech contest that year just happened to be on the 5th of November. My friend Andy chose a really great topic, Guy Fawkes. He told us all about the gunpowder plot which took place in England about 400 years ago. Many people were angry with the way that they were treated by the King and his government. They thought the laws weren't fair and planned to blow up the Houses of Parliament. They believed that was the only way to make change, even though many people, including the King, could be killed. Guy Fawkes was the group's gunpowder expert, but just as he was getting ready to set off the explosion, he was discovered. Along with his mates, Guy Fawkes was later tried and put to death. The plot had failed, so the King ordered celebrations to be held. Andy finished his speech by saying, "Let's all have fun with fireworks and burn a bonfire tonight." Most of the class clapped and cheered loudly. We thought that Andy's was the last speech and that he'd win the contest. But then, Aroha stood up. She walked slowly forward, wearing a white feather in her hair. I'd always thought that Aroha was quite shy, but when she began to speak that day, her voice was as strong and clear as the song of a tui. My tupuna, my forefathers came from Taranaki, from a village called Parihaka. Over 100 years ago, Te Whiti o Rongamai and Tohu Kākahi were our leaders. They wore white feathers, rokura, as a sign of peace. Unlike many Māori villages, Parihaka had no fortification or fences around it. People from all over the country, Māori and European, were welcomed as guests. Our village had fertile land, forest and fishing grounds, and we traded food with settlers in the area. But like Guy Fawkes and his friends in England, many Māori didn't think the laws were fair. In Aotearoa, New Zealand, however, the dispute was about the government selling land that belonged to Māori. Te Whiti said that money was never as valuable as land. Tohu and Te Whiti wanted peace and fair treatment, but didn't believe killing people was the way to make change. Aroha told us how the people of Parihaka challenged the new laws. They pulled out survey pegs, ploughed up farmers' fields and built fences across land that had been taken from Māori. Although they were feeling angry, her people chose to follow their beliefs. When they were arrested, they went to prison without attacking the soldiers. This happened over and over again. Finally, one morning in 1881, hundreds of soldiers surrounded Parihaka and marched into the village. They were ready to fire their guns. But instead of finding armed warriors, they were faced with children who sang and skipped on the roadway. The rest of the villagers sat quietly on the marae and waited. Then came the order. "You have 1 hour to leave." The people of Parihaka did not move. When Te Whiti and Tohu were arrested, they walked with dignity into captivity. "Be you steadfast in all that is peaceful," Te Whiti told their followers. That day was also the 5th of November, Aroha said. Many years of suffering followed in our village, but our people's actions are remembered with pride. It didn't matter anymore who won the speech contest, but what we had learned about that peaceful protest at Parihaka would change forever the way we remember November.